Okay, so for this next lesson, we're going to be adding numbers in a base other than 10. So the numbers will be in the same base, but it won't be base 10. But we have to kind of think about base 10. If we were trying to add something like, I don't know, 25 plus 37, when we add the 5 and the 7, we get 12. And we're like, but we can't have two digits here. So we automatically carry the 1 up top. So we keep the 2 and we carry the 1. Now I want to show you a trick for why the 1 is going on the top and the 2 is going over on the bottom. Okay, so I want you to think about 12. And it's kind of difficult because we're operating in base 10, which you inherently understand what 12 means. Okay, but let's say you didn't understand what 12 means. So in base 10, you can have the digits 0 through 9, and the powers of 10, starting from the right, 10 to the 0, which is 1, 10 squared, or sorry, 10 to the first, which is 10, 10 squared, which is 100, and I think that's it. Like, there's more, but that's all we need to do. So when I have the number 12, 12 isn't a single digit. I have to make it 2 digits for base 10. So the number 10 is the smallest value, the largest value, which is smaller than 12, which is also a power of 10. So I want you to think about, what is 12 divided by 10? How many times does 10 go into 12? It goes in 1 time, and the remainder is 2. So in the 10, or the 10 to the first spot, there'll be a 1. And in the ones spot, there'll be a 2. So I break this number and I put the tens portion, or the next digit, over with those digits. So that's why I carry the 1 up top, is because I'm combining the tens digit, or the second place value, with the other second place values. So we would keep the 2 down here, and then we would add 1 plus 2 plus 3, which makes 6. And since 6 isn't a 2-digit value, we don't have to convert it. Now, we're going to do this same idea, but we're going to do it with bases which are not 10. So let's take, this is from Alex, 111 plus 101, and we're in base 2. So 111 plus 101, and we're in base 2. So the digits that are allowed are 0 and 1, and the place values, 2 to the 0, 2 to the 1, 2 to the 2. I don't think we'll need more than that, but we'll do 2 to the 3. So 2 to the 0 is 1, 2 to the 1 is 2, 2 squared is 4, and 2 cubed is 8. So keep those in mind. This is like all thinking. Like, you don't have to write this down for every single problem if you can think it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this adding. But the thing is, we're not going to inherently carry anything until the end. So let's add 1 plus 1. That makes 2. 1 plus 0, that makes 1. And 1 plus 1, that makes 2. And if we were operating in base 10, we would be done. But this is in base 2, which means the digit 2 is unacceptable. We don't know what that means. We only know what zeros and ones mean. So let's think about the number 2. It is exactly even or equal to 2 to the first power, right? So we're thinking 2, this 2, divided by 2. So I want to distinguish this. So divided by 2 equals 1 with a remainder of 0. So if I wanted to write 2 in base 2, it would be 1, 0. So I'm going to keep the 0, and I'm going to put the 1 here like I'm carrying it. So now when I add 1 plus 1, I'm going to come down. That's technically 2, right? But we decided 2 was 1, 0. So I'm going to put the 0 here and carry the 1 here. Now, when I add 2 plus 1, that gives me 3. And 3 is not allowed. So let's think about 3. Again, the first power of 2 that's lower than 3 is 2. So 3 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 1. So 2 goes into 3 one time, and then there's 1 more left over. So instead of writing 3, I would write 1, 1. So I'm going to write 1 here, and then 1 over here. Now there's nothing to carry, so, or nothing to add to, so that guy just comes down and is 1. So when I add these guys together, I get 1, 1, 0, 0 in base 2. So 1, 1, 0, 0 in base 2. Let's try again with 3, 6 and 3, 4 base 8. And we're adding them together. So 3, 6 plus 3, 4. 3, 6 plus 3, 4. And again, we're in base 8. So the allowed digits are 0 through 7. And the powers of 7 are 7 to the 0, which is 1. 7 to the first, which is 7. 7 squared, which is 49. And I don't think we're going to need even 49, so but you could keep going to the left. So now I'm going to add these two, starting from the right. Now that makes 10, right? That makes 10, but remember we're in base 8. So oh my gosh, I said 0 to 7 and then I wrote the powers of 7. I meant 0 to 7, clearly, but then base 8. So we have to think about the powers of 8. Sorry about that. So 8 to the 0 is 1. 8 to the first is 8. And 8 squared is 64. All right, so now we added 6 and 4, and that makes 10. So let's think about the value of 10 in base 8. So I have to divide by 8. So 10 divided by 8 equals 1 with a remainder of 2. So I'll put a 2 here, and I'm going to carry the 1. Let's try again. So I've got 1 plus 3 plus 3, that's 7. Now 7 is smaller than 8, right? It's only bigger than 1. So you could still do it. 7 divided by 1 equals 7 with a remainder of 0. So this guy just stays a 7. So this is base 8. So 7, 2, base 8. Again, we wouldn't read that as 72 because 70 is representative of 7 times 10. And here we do not have 7 times 10, right? We have 7 times 8. So now let's try it with subtraction. So I've got 221 base 4 minus 130 base 4. So base 4 is 0, 1, 2, 3, and its powers of 4. So 4 to the 0 is 1. 4 to the first is 4. 4 squared is 16. And that's all that we really need. So now subtraction and addition are related, right? When you're subtracting, you're really finding out how much do I add to get to the bigger number, right? So we could say, what number do I add to 130 to get 221? Right? To solve that linear equation, we would just subtract 130. So you can do this like without actually subtracting. So let's think about it in smaller numbers in base 10. So like let's say that you want to know what plus 7 equals 25. So you would start at 7 and you would travel 3, and that brings you to 10, and then you would travel 10, and that would give you 20, and then you need to get to 25, so you would add 5 more, and that would give you 25. So this here makes 18. So the question, if I wanted to know what is 25 minus 7, I would say, oh, well, that's 18 because there you need to take 18 steps to get from 7 to 25. So now we're going to think about this in base 4. So we want to start at 130, and we want to take steps to get to, or I shouldn't say 130, sorry, 130, and we want to take steps to get to 221. But the thing is, when we roll over at 3, so we don't have a 4, 5, 6. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it keeps rolling over that placement. So if I want to get just one more, right, so I'm just adding 1 to this rightmost digit, it will then match that guy. So when I do that, I get 1, 3, 1. Okay, now I want to get to 2. Right, so I want that middle digit to get to be a 2. So now I'm at 3. If I add 1, it goes to 4, but remember 4 is not allowed, so it would roll over. So I'm going to go from 3, and then I need to go 1, 2 more to get to 1, so 3 more to get to 2. So remember, I'm at 3 and I have to roll over and count again. So 1, 2, 3. So it took 3 steps to get there. So I'm going to plus 3, technically 3, 0, 3 in the middle, 0 in the ones digit. So when I add that, I just want to write it the same. So I'm going to write plus 30 here, or plus 30 here. And when I do that adding, now I have 1, 6, 1. But remember, 6 is not allowed. And that goes to 2, and I carry the 1. So again, think about 6. 6 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 2. So the 2 goes down and the 1 stays up. So now I have 2, 2, 1. So now, I'm already at 2, 2, 1. I don't have to add anything else. So what do I add to 130 to get to 2, 2, 1? Sorry, I said it again, 130. What do I add to 130 to get to 2, 1 in base 4? I would add 3, 1. Right, so when I put these two together, I get 3, 1. That means their difference is 3, 1. Now, how could you check? You could do that math. So let's take 130 and add to it 3, 1. Let's see. So 0 plus 1 makes 1, nothing to carry. 3 plus 3 makes 6, but 6 is not allowed. So 6 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 2. So instead, I'll put a 2 here and a 1 over here. Then I'll do the math again. 1 plus 1 makes 2. And there's nothing that rolls over. There's no conversion. So when I put those guys together, it does make 2, 2, 1. So I know I've done my subtraction right. So the idea is to do subtraction by doing addition. So let's try it again. Let's do 153 minus 16 in base 8. 153 minus 16 in base 8. So base 8 is 0 through 7. And the bases are powers of 8. So 8 to the 0 is 1. 8 to the 1 is 8. And so on. You never, when you're doing these small conversions and adding and subtracting, you won't need more than just the base. Okay, so we want to say, what is this equal to? Right, so that means what number plus 16 makes 153, or what number plus 16 equals 153? It's really hard to not call them like regular base 10 numbers because we are in base 8. So we're going to count up. So we're starting at 0, 1, 6. And we want to get to 1, 5, 3. So we need to get from 6 to 3. So you can't go past 7. It doesn't go to 8. It wraps back around. So if we're at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we're at 6 and we need it to roll over to a 3, we would have to go 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd have to go 5 steps to get it to a 3. So let's plus 5 here. But remember, 5 is, 5 is allowed, but when we add these and we get 6 plus 5 makes 11, 11 is not allowed. So we're thinking 11 divided by 8 makes 1 remainder 3. So when I do this adding, the 3 will stay down and the 1 will come up. So now I'm at 0, 2, 3. So now I need to get the 2 to turn into a 5. So how many do I have to add? I have to add 3 more to get to 5, right? So I'm at 2. I need to get to 5. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to add 5 here, but remember that's 5, 0. So that gives me 0, 7, 3. So sorry. I have to go 3 steps to get to 5. Oh man. So 3 more steps and that will get to 5. So 0, 5, 3. So now it was 5 was allowed, so that's fine. Now we want to change this 0 here. We want to change this to 1. Right, that's what we need. So we're going to plus 1 to this guy, but remember that's 0 to the other guys. So 1, 5, 3. And we finally made it to where we wanted to be. So we took in the base, we took 1, 0, 0 plus 3, 0 plus 5, and that gave us 100 or 135 in base 8. So we think, right, that 135 plus 16 should make 153. So let's just try it again. Subtraction is kind of difficult just in general, so it's better to relate it to addition. So I want to do 135 plus 16. Okay, so 5 plus 6 makes 11, but 11 is not allowed. So we're going to take 11 and divide it by 8 because that's our base. And that makes 1, right? 8 goes into 11 one time, and there's 3 left over. So we're going to put 3 here and 1 here. Okay, let's add the next place value. So 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. Now 5 is an allowed value, so I don't have to do anything. And then I want to do just 1 technically plus 0, and that will make 1. So it does in fact make 153 when I add those two together, which means that 153 minus 16 is 135. So you can approach your subtraction as addition.